once stood as a symbol of financial success, a generation that thrived in booming economies, secured stable jobs, and built impressive wealth. But today, that image is rapidly fading. Rising costs, shrinking retirement funds, and overwhelming debt are leaving millions of boomers facing a harsh reality they never expected. What's even more alarming is how this growing crisis is starting to spill over, threatening not just their financial stability, but also the economy as a whole, and that's where you come in. Because understanding the mistakes being made right now could be the key to protecting your own future. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what's happening, why it's so dangerous, and most importantly, how to avoid making the same costly errors. Before we dive deeper into this growing crisis and how it could affect you, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're constantly sharing insights and strategies to help you stay ahead financially, and trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. For decades, the baby boomer generation seemed to have everything figured out. They were part of one of the most economically prosperous eras in history. Jobs were plentiful, wages were stable, and homeownership was seen as the ultimate investment. Yet despite these advantages, millions of boomers are now facing a retirement crisis that few ever expected. Today, nearly 45% of baby boomers have no retirement savings at all. Think about that for a moment. Almost half of an entire generation is stepping into their retirement years completely unprepared. Imagine working hard for 30 or 40 years, only to realize that you don't have enough saved to cover your living expenses. For those who do have savings, the numbers still aren't encouraging. The average retirement account balance for boomers sits at roughly $144,000, and while that might sound like a lot, it's far from enough to sustain a comfortable retirement. When you break that down into monthly expenses, it amounts to less than $500 per month over a 25-year retirement. That's barely enough to cover groceries, let alone housing, medical bills, or unexpected emergencies. But how did this happen? One major factor is that many boomers didn't anticipate living as long as they are. Advances in healthcare have extended life expectancy well beyond what most retirement plans were designed to support. A retirement fund meant to last 15 years now needs to stretch for 25 or even 30 years, and for many boomers, their money is simply running out. As a result, a growing number of boomers are being forced to delay retirement or even come out of retirement just to survive. Some are taking low-wage jobs in retail, customer service, or driving for rideshare services. Not because they want to, but because they have no choice. But a lack of savings isn't the only problem. There's something even more dangerous weighing boomers down: debt. Debt has quietly become one of the biggest threats to boomers' financial stability, and it's a problem that's been building for decades. While previous generations often entered retirement debt-free, baby boomers are now retiring with record-breaking debt levels. Many refinanced their homes during economic downturns, hoping that rising property values would offset their loans. Others borrowed heavily to fund their children's education, believing they'd have enough time to pay it back. And some simply turned to credit cards to maintain a lifestyle they could no longer afford. The result? Boomers now hold more debt per household than any other generation. Mortgages, car loans, and credit card balances are piling up, and for those still carrying student loan debt, the financial pressure is even worse. This debt creates a dangerous cycle. As monthly payments pile up, many boomers are forced to drain what little retirement savings they have just to stay afloat. With interest rates climbing, those payments are becoming even harder to manage. For some, this means cutting back on essentials, skipping medications, delaying doctor visits, or even choosing between food and utility bills. And for others, the pressure is forcing them to sell their biggest financial asset, their home. For decades, boomers were told that real estate was the safest investment, a guaranteed path to building wealth. But for many, that investment has now turned into a financial trap. Boomers who bought homes in the 1980s and 1990s saw property values soar. But now, many of those same homes are becoming liabilities. Rising property taxes, increased maintenance costs, and expensive repairs are putting enormous financial strain on aging homeowners. Some are trapped in homes that are far too large for their current needs but can't afford to downsize. Selling a home often comes with unexpected costs, closing fees, moving expenses, and in some cases, major repairs that must be made before the house can even be listed. And for those who can sell, many are shocked to discover that the profit they expected is far less than they had hoped, leaving them with little to no equity to fund their retirement. Even worse, some boomers took out reverse mortgages, a financial product that provides cash upfront but drastically reduces the home's equity over time. Now, those individuals face the risk of losing their property altogether if they can no longer afford property taxes or insurance. But no financial challenge has hit boomers harder than the skyrocketing costs of healthcare. Healthcare in the United States is more expensive than ever, and for boomers, those costs are hitting at the worst possible time. Even with Medicare, many retirees face overwhelming out-of-pocket costs for medications, treatments, and long-term care. The average couple retiring today can expect to spend over $315,000 on healthcare expenses throughout retirement, and that number doesn't include potential costs for home care, assisted living, or nursing facilities. For boomers living on fixed incomes, these expenses are devastating. Some are forced to skip medications, delay treatments, or avoid doctor visits entirely, putting their health at serious risk. And what's worse, one unexpected medical emergency like a heart attack, stroke, or major surgery can completely wipe out years of savings in a matter of weeks. But here's the part most people overlook: this crisis doesn't stop with the baby boomers. It's a chain reaction, and if you're not preparing now, you could find yourself facing the very same struggles in the future. You might be thinking, I'm not a boomer, so why should I care? But here's the reality: the financial crisis facing boomers today is a warning sign for younger generations. The economic challenges they're facing, rising debt, unstable social programs, and soaring healthcare costs, aren't going away. If anything, they're likely to get worse. That's why building a strong financial foundation now is crucial. Whether you're in your 20s, 30s, or 40s, the steps you take today will determine whether you're financially secure in the future or facing the same struggles as millions of boomers are now. Start by creating a budget that prioritizes saving and investing. Reduce high-interest debt as soon as possible. And most importantly, start planning for retirement now, even if it feels far away. By learning from the mistakes being made today, you can build a future that's stable, secure, and stress-free. If this information is helping you see the bigger picture and understand the financial risks ahead, take a second to hit the like button. It's a small action, but it really helps this message reach more people who need to hear it. The financial struggles facing baby boomers are a powerful reminder that no one is immune to financial hardship unless they prepare for it. The good news is that by taking action now, you can build a stable financial future and avoid falling into the same traps. If you're serious about improving your finances, I've got more videos packed with practical tips to help you grow your wealth, reduce debt, and prepare for retirement, no matter where you're starting from. Click on one of the videos on your screen now and take the next step toward securing your financial future. I'll see you there.